and welcome to Nationwide Today on the network service of the NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori. The effects of the coronavirus pandemic on the economy has again reinforced the need for a common national growth agenda to wave off the harsh global economic realities. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Hamid says the task of rebuilding the economy requires a unified approach across all ministries, departments and agencies. Chimubi Walter Naji reports.
The civil service is believed to be at the heart of the governance process as it is integral to development and policies implementation. However, over time, this vision has been short-lived as successive administrations come with different policies and sometimes conflicting, thereby derailing the long-term development plan of the country. Coronavirus disease has slowed the economy and further pronounced this lapse. As a panacea, Nigeria, through the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, is driving a process that will ensure valid and sustained execution of all government plans across ministries, departments and agencies of government.
We must image the social contract between government and its citizens, and we must also deepen our commitments to the open government partnership and to open and transparent governance and citizens' engagement.
This session provides an opportunity for the participating officials to interface and share developmental ideas with a view to transform the fiscal space with TICTU while carrying along other arms and tiers of government.
For us to have this kind of forum, I think the government has caught another first. You cannot separate the special advisors from the ministers and from the government itself. And like the Honorable Minister said in her opening remarks, our job is to complement.
Particularly now that Nigeria is trying to develop a new national development plan. And you know that activities around the plan are essentially cross-cutting. So
this training is part of the government's engagement with state governments, civil societies and organized private sector in carving a post-COVID-19 response for economic development. In Abuja, I'm Chimubi Walter Naji, NTA News.
And the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyemaina, tweet confirmed that so far a total of 93 Nigerians in Europe have been repatriated in the evacuation exercise coordinated by the Embassy of Nigeria in France in cooperation with Nigerian missions in Germany, Belgium, Holland and Hungary. In the tweet, Onyema says some of the evacuees are Nigerians in France, Hungary, Romania, Poland, Norway, Germany, Holland, UK and Canada. All passengers tested negative before boarding. Meanwhile, the Foreign Minister in another tweet says he's heading for an isolation facility and praying for the best, having tested positive to coronavirus after the fourth test on Saturday at the first sign of a throat irritation. Now to COVID-19 update. Reports coming in from the Niger Center for Disease Control says over 650 new cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in Nigeria. These 653 new COVID-19 cases brings the total number of confirmed cases to 36,107 in the country. And in the breakdown, Lagos has 115, Kwara 85, Enugu 80, FCT 78, Rivers 36, Ondo 33, 35, Oyo 30, Katsina 28, Kaduna and Abia states have 19 new cases each, Nasarawa has 18, Plateau 17, Imo 16, while Ogun, Ebonyi, Benue and Kano recorded 9 new cases each. Other states with new COVID-19 cases are Delta with 8, Bauchi 7, Ekiti 6, with Gombe, Bayelsa, Adamawa and Osun confirming 4 new cases each. Cross River, Yobe, Borno and Zamfara have 1 new case each. Lagos maintains the lead in the number of COVID-19 case charts with 13,341 cases, followed by the FCT with 2,957 cases, and Oyo coming next with 2,106 cases. And on the plus side, the number of recovered and discharged COVID-19 patients has risen to 14,938, while 778 patients have unfortunately died from COVID-19 related complications. Meanwhile, the Indian government has donated 586 cartons of essential medicines, including antibiotics, to support the fight against COVID-19 pandemic in the country. That donation, which was made by the High Commissioner of India to Nigeria, is part of India's collaboration with African countries to combat the pandemic on the continent. Basi Itaikman tells us more.
Nigeria have enjoyed long-lasting bilateral relations, and India has remained a close developmental partner of Nigeria, committed to building capacity in addition to contributing to the welfare of Nigerians, especially in this critical period of COVID-19 challenge. The Minister of Health, who received the donation, commended India for the gesture. He noted that, in spite of India's challenges as a nation, it still assists Nigeria in other countries.
The market here is huge, it's large, and the opportunities for collaboration are endless. I've mentioned your distinction in production of APIs, which here in Nigeria are extremely important also in our aspirations to thrive in the pharmaceutical industry.
In May-June 2020, India also facilitated commercial exports of HCQS to Nigeria after India gave an exception for supply of these medicines to Nigeria.
Nigeria, the minister said, is looking forward to collaborating with other countries of the world on knowledge sharing, expertise for the production of a vaccine against COVID-19. Basi Taikman, NTA News.
Still on the containment of COVID-19, Governor Samuel Ortom has given strict order for the use of face masks and adherence to all the NCDC protocol by Benue people as the state witnessed a spike in the case of COVID-19 daily. The governor harped on these measures at a burial he attended in Otukpo local government area of the state. Charles Abba reports.
Case of coronavirus pandemic continue to surge in spite of frantic efforts by the Benue state government to control the spread. Governor Samuel Ortom, who announced that a second test revealed that his wife, Dr. Eunice, is still positive for the virus and his son negative, encouraged people to be committed to the use of face masks and observe all the necessary measures capable of reducing the escalation of the pandemic.
Wearing of face masks when you're going outside your house, maintaining social distances, washing of hands with soap, and using hand sanitizers wherever it is applicable. Please let us continue to observe it.
He also expressed displeasure over the spate of crimes in various parts of the state and gave the assurances that he would support any legitimate means adopted by corporate bodies or individuals to stem the tide of violence and criminality in the state.
We must, at all times, be ready to provide information to government and to security men to be able to call the rates of insecurity that is happening.
The governor reiterated that there can be no meaningful development amid crisis. From Otukpo, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Let's now talk issues related to the youths. The coronavirus may have come with its socio-economic problems, but there are options that the pandemic is also affecting youth's engagement in political activities and decision-making due to social distancing, as well as the stay-at-home orders. Against this background, speakers are the first Oladele John Nihi Annual Symposium are saying Nigerian youths need to place themselves in a situation where they can be taken seriously. Justin Bemoy reports.
Statistics by the NBS shows that young people under age 30 comprise more than 50% of the Nigerian population. Many youths, however, believe that their voices are often underrepresented in decision-making. This first Oladele John Nihi Annual Symposium presented a platform for the convergence of youth, where the central take-home message was young Nigerians should endeavor to always think outside the box and think of positive actions that can transform them from where they are to where they want to be, rather than harboring the victim mentality.
We need to act up and have our own part done in having that dream future, in having that big picture. I mean, the beautiful picture you and I have about our country.
We want to prepare ourselves ahead of 2023 by one, sensitizing ourselves as youth, by secondly, encouraging youth not just to sit on social media and be criticizing government and be pointing out the loopholes, but getting involved to even first get registered.
In other countries, you have youths as young as 23, 24. They are ministers, they are secretaries of the different sectors of their economy. But Nigerian youths, in spite of having been denied in so many ways, need to place themselves in a situation where they can be taken seriously.
Progressively, we should not forget about I must always be a leader. We should look at ourselves as a team. That's the only time when Nigerian youth can work in unison is when they can move ahead.
From speaker after speaker at the symposium, the message rolled out was for the youth to know that a better Nigeria begins with them. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
Now, as shocking as it may seem, it is true that some Nigerians are far from living in the present global health challenge of the coronavirus pandemic. Our reason may be due to attitude of indifference towards valuable national information, and this is said to be the cause for the spike of the pandemic. Maureen Leo Ajom brings us details.
It's no longer news that Cross River State has fully joined states with confirmed cases of the coronavirus pandemic. With the pandemic now confirmed to be in the state with statistics to show, it should be a source of worry and concern that precautionary measures are strictly adhered to. Findings reveal that the attitude of people in Calabar seems to be careless at a time when there should be a high level of consciousness, and many stakeholders are wondering why the trend now.
That it doesn't come to you doesn't mean it's not existing. So I will advise everybody to take all the precautions.
Now we have confirmed coronavirus in town. We are going to walk back to that consciousness of keeping to the guidelines. We must keep to the guidelines.
The careless attitude of the people has made some persons not to wear face masks as they move about, while others do not bother to be conscious of observing social distancing.
What's important for us is to step up our sensitization. We just finished discussing the risk communication pillar activities right now. We're engaging with the Christian Association of Nigeria, the Muslim Association, traditional rulers, and indeed everybody to see how they can step up sensitization.
It is hoped that with the many instructions on COVID-19 protocols, Nigerians will take full responsibility to protect themselves at this time when the world is grappling with a health challenge that has no cure. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
Lagos State government shuts down bars and nightclubs. Details of this with Dotun Ogunyemi in Lagos. Hello, Dotun.
Many thanks, Elizabeth. The Lagos State government has sealed off non-compliant bars and nightclubs operating despite the ban on social gatherings. Uzezi Arure reports that the enforcement saw several evidences of non-compliance at different locations in Lagos State.
The ban on public gatherings became imperative due to the daily increase in the number of coronavirus cases. The exercise commenced around 10 p.m. on Saturday. It was observed that the fund seekers at different locations did not adhere to any of the stipulated preventive measures against COVID-19. As they nonchalantly enjoyed the night, the presence of the government officials brought shock and confusion, making them to flee, leaving behind their valuables.
The government is making several efforts to make sure that we curb COVID-19 pandemic. The directive of the governor is that no face masks, no entry. And apart from that, we have not given directive that they should open beer parlor
While the officials carried out their activities without resistance in some areas, they were obstructed in some places and denied voluntary entry.
I hope you know that the gathering here is in direct conflict with what the Lagos state government has stipulated regarding COVID-19. We met people here seated.
Some of the facility owners also claimed to be unaware such activities are carried out in their hotels.
Is this takeaway, madam? Is this takeaway?
This residential building was closed down for carrying out social and public activities, which is illegal under the law. The Lagos state government reminded the people that the ban placed on social gatherings remains intact and will continue to clamp down on offenders as long as the lockdown continues. In Lagos, Uzezi Arure, NTA News.
And away from COVID-19 enforcement, rail transport is a key driver for industrialization and, by extension, modernization to boost economy and job creation. This was highlighted at the presentation of a book, There to Live My Passion, memoir of an authentic railway man. It was written by Nat Okoro, Nigeria's first managing director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. Ken Ibeluge has the report.
The Railway Modernization Initiative in Nigeria is aimed at replacing the existing narrow gauge system with the standard gauge while allowing high-speed train operations on the railway network. In the last 6 years, this present administration has invested enormous resources to the expansion of rail projects to ease congestion on roads and to boost the economy. To this end, the launch of the book, Dare to Live My Passion, provides an insight into improving the strategic master plan of the railway subsector.
To work with Transport Rail, work with this thing to prepare the 25-year strategic. What you see them implementing now, the standard gauge, is my job.
This comparison of the success of railway performance during the British era, 1945 to 60, the good old days, as he called them, the post-independent Nigerian management transition years, 1960 to 78.
Many described the book as a credible document that emphasized the selfless service rendered by the author towards adding value to the rail development in the country.
And every course he went to while in the railway, he tried to excel.
There is nothing like leadership if you don't have sacrificial giving of self to advance the common good of all.
Nat Okoro is not just the railway man. He lived all his life within the Nigerian Railway Corporation quarters and rose to become the first indigenous managing director of the corporation. In Lagos, Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
Let's now take a break. Nationwide continues shortly.
and NTA say you can help Nigeria to flatten the curve on COVID-19, just as you can help flatten the curve on corruption. Follow transparency, accountability, and integrity just as you follow health guidelines. Stay home with integrity and maintain your distance from corruption, just as you stay away from COVID-19 by maintaining social distance. Report every act of corruption to ICPC, just as you report COVID-19 to NCDC. Stay away from corruption, stay safe from COVID-19. Report any act of corruption to ICPC on toll-free number 0800-2255-4272. This message is brought to you by ICPC and NTA.
The number
of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rest heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Thanks for staying with us. Still on the rail project, the completed Itakpe-Warri standard gauge rail line is now only waiting for inauguration by President Muhammadu Buhari to commence full passenger, commercial and freight services transportation. Minister Rotimi Amechi gave the indication during an inspection tour of the project. Oluseyi Adiagbo completes the story.
Measuring 318 kilometers and cutting across the three states of Kogi, Edo and Delta, the Itakpe-Warri railway line has 11 railway stations along its corridors. Apart from passenger service, the completed rail project has full potentials of running a cargo business with the steel and cement companies around its corridors, which makes its economic viability a pride for many.
We ran the train for over 6 months free of charge. People were going from Warri to Itakpe, and before the COVID, because of the COVID, we are all on lockdown.
The schedule of the Minister of Transportation here is therefore twofold. Inspection of facilities along the rail corridors is one. The other is a test run of actual operations. The Agbo Rail Station is the center of operations connecting the Itakpe-Warri rail line to the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Railway project, which cuts across most states in the southeast and south-south.
The camera will show that this is a good job. This is, and this is the Goodluck Jonathan Arbor Station, which incorporates the railway facilities, which you just visited. Both Julius Berger and CCCC and team have all done a good job.
With the progress already made, Nigerians will be salivating of the prospects of a fully functional Itakpe-Warri railway line. Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
And away from transportation, troops of Operation Lafia Dole in the northeast have eliminated 6 top Boko Haram ISOP commanders. A statement by the coordinator, Defense Major Operations, Major General John Eninche, states that the terrorists were neutralized at a border town with Cameroon while attempting to cross over the Sambisa axis. Similarly, Major General John Eninche notes that troops of Operation Sahel Sanity, with support from the Air Task Force, have captured one of the stronghold of the bandits situated in our forest in Jibia local government area of Katsina State. During the encounter, 17 bandits met their Waterloo, 5 arrested along Faskari-Shem-Dadome Road, including one who could not validate his claim of being a policeman. In another development, troops also aborted an attempt to kidnap a 10-year-old girl in Bega Tukudi Forest. Still in security, the Nigerian Air Force has revealed results of preliminary investigations into the death of Flying Officer Tolulope Arotile. The officer of the Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force says her death occurred around 4:30 p.m. when former schoolmates Adejo, Folorunsho and Bayego, all Kogi State indigents, in a Kia Sorento SUV with registration number AZ478MKA drove into her while reversing, knocking her down and driving over parts of her, causing significant bodily harm and head injuries, which she succumbed to. The deceased was backing the vehicle and was unaware of its approach. She was pronounced dead on arrival at the NAF hospital. The suspects were subjected to toxicology tests, which were negative. Driver Adejo was found to be without a valid driver's license, and the case is to be transferred to the police. NAV concludes that there was no foul play in the unfortunate incident. Meanwhile, late flying officer Tolu Lokpe will be buried on the 23rd of July 2020 with full military honors. Still talking security, in a renewed onslaught against cult activities, 680 suspects cultists have been apprehended within 7 months in Akwa Ibom State. The State Commissioner of Police, Imoimi Edgar, while disclosing this to NTA News, said 430 of them are currently facing trial in various courts across the states. Clement Barikwi reports.
Increasing cases of cult activities in part of Akwa Ibom State, including primary and secondary schools, propelled Governor Dom Emmanuel to sign an order proscribing 51 cult groups early in the year. The police took it from there and has been re-strategizing to end the scourge of cultism. Apart from strengthening and re-equipping the anti-cultism unit of the force, the State Police Command is building a strong intelligence gathering base through the community policing advisory committees.
Based on intelligence, arrested well over 680 cultists. 430 of whom are currently being prosecuted. I have also not spared my policemen who have been confirmed, who have as cultists. You recall that I dismissed one who was confirmed to be a cultist, reduced one in rank for aiding and abetting cultism.
Esireket local government area has had its own share of these cult activities, and this explains the people's excitement over the inauguration of the local government community policing advisory committee.
It is a responsibility that we must live to expectation.
We have to see how best to police Esireket so that peace and security can be sustained.
With the inauguration, the people are upbeat that cultism and other crimes will soon reduce. From Esireket, Clement Barkui, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Federal Road Safety Corps has condemned the unruly attack resulting into a degree of damage to both FRSC personnel on patrol operations and a patrol vehicle by a tricycle operator in Benin, Edo State. In a statement by the Assistant Corps Marshal, BC Kazim, the Corps expresses displeasure at the incessant abuse of its personnel and damage to its property across the formations nationwide by unruly people and warns that this, like other unwarranted attacks, is highly unacceptable. The Corps Marshal, Dr. Boboyo Yemi, however, commends the patriotic citizens that assisted in arresting the criminal and has also ordered the prosecution of the perpetrator of that crazy act of humiliation and recklessness on law enforcement agencies. He, however, reminded members of the public that law enforcement agents serve the common interest of the general public and deserve to be respected and not humiliated in the course of their duty. Let's now head to Port Harcourt, where Sedoma Dibabari is standing by.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The Nigerian Navy ship Pathfinder Port Harcourt has handed a motor vessel alongside 2 barges to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for alleged economic sabotage. Kingsley Amanji reports that the vessels were intercepted at separate operations.
The vessel MV Destiny, Barge Furo 1 and unnamed barge are intercepted at Bile and Canton Channel open water. The suspects reportedly escaped on sighting. The Naval Surveillance Team preliminary investigation shows that they were laden with stolen crude oil and illegally refined diesel. This handover exercise is to enable the EFCC do thorough investigation and possibly trap the suspects for prosecution.
Barges were towed to Nigerian Navy ship Pathfinder Holding Bay here in the base as well as in FOT on air for preliminary investigation as well as for safe custody. Now, upon completion of the base's investigation and in line with directives from Naval Headquarters to hand over the 3 badges, contents contained therein, to the representative of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
And I want to assure the general public that a thorough investigation will be conducted, and in no distant time, the appropriate action will be taken.
In the meantime, the NNS Pathfinder has warned all those involved in illegal oil bunkering and refining to desist from such nefarious act, saying that its men are determined to contain the incidents of illegal oil bunkering in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
The novel coronavirus pandemic has brought with it a global new normal, which is obviously adjusting lifestyles to suit present realities with attendant innovations. Your Market Friend, a brainchild of the Cross River State Ministry of Commerce, is one of such innovations set up to ensure Cross Riverians are able to cope with the challenges of the moment without compromise. Achibong Basi has details.
The Agro-Industry Revolution is one of the many initiatives of the Ben Ayade-led administration, which has offered an enabling environment for businesses to thrive in the state and the nation. Therefore, in its efforts to harness the agro-industry, the Ministry of Commerce has created Your Market Friend, a platform to bridge the gap between farmers in rural communities and consumers in Calabar Metropolis.
We are starting from just food, because food is health and food is wealth.
The new normal it's really terrible. Either you key in or you perish.
Even before the advent of COVID-19, e-commerce has started disrupting businesses, and it's a positive disruption that we look forward to.
We'll continue to sensitize people to let them know that products like this exist.
In Calabar, Achibong Basi, NTA News.
We are done here. Nationwide continues with Elizabeth in Abuja. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Dibabari. The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons has distributed food items and farm inputs to internally displaced persons in Bali local government area of Taraba State. The intervention by the federal government is geared towards ameliorating the plight of victims of crisis in the state. Joseph Zana Gambo reports.
Available statistics shows that Taraba State currently accommodates over 26,000 internally displaced persons affected by crisis, both within and outside the state. The challenges faced by this group of persons spread across various communities in the central part of the state, particularly in Bali local government area, could be said to have prompted this intervention by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons.
The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, we have a mandate to care, maintain and provide durable solutions for those that are internally displaced. Currently, we are going through to about 11 states distributing items like this to ameliorate the suffering of our people and to empower them to be able to produce things on their own.
Beneficiaries of the federal government gesture could not hide their joy as they commended President Muhammadu Buhari for establishing the commission, which according to them has impacted positively the lives of vulnerable persons in Nigeria.
I'm overexcited with what I've seen now. First and foremost, I will start by greeting the federal government and the Taraba State particularly for remembering us.
We pray that they will continue doing it so that we will benefit from that.
Items distributed include food, farm input, among several others. In Jalingo, Joseph Zanagambo, NTA News.
Farmers in Jigawa State, one of the largest rice production centers in the country, are looking forward to the implementation of recent federal government's pronouncement on the control of pets and quail birds on their farms to the tunes of billions of naira. This is coming as the birds pose serious threats to farming activities generally in the state. Mansour Ali Hassan has a report.
With over 80% of arable landmass, which makes it among the most agriculturally endowed states in Nigeria, Jigawa State has the potentials for agricultural production for local consumption, commercial and exportation. Many of the areas covered by these potential agricultural land have been bedeviled by many challenges, which include incessant farmer-herders clashes, flooding, taifa grass and that of the migratory birds. Invasion of koala birds, particularly rice farming, has been a major challenge confronting rice farmers in this area. Guri, Krika Samma, Hadeja and our local government areas are the worst hit places affected by the invasion of koala birds, capable of wiping out everything in the farm within hours and days. 42-year-old Gambasani of Marma village in Guri local government area is among the largest rice farmers from the area.
I have lost more than 250,000 naira during the dry season farming due to koala bird invasion.
Even though efforts have been made in the past to prevent these birds, it appears farmers like Mohammed Belloma, who equally lost hundreds of birds annually, are still not satisfied. This prompted them to devise means of safeguarding their hard-earned means by the services of these children, where a makeshift tent they call Gadali is erected in strategic locations. The children stay from 6 o'clock in the morning every day, chasing away the koala birds using various methods. While calling for urgent federal and state government's intervention, they also advise on adopting research-based pest repellents that will eliminate both birds and the taifa grass without any biological damage to them.
This kachala is their best for koala birds. For example, in the morning you see them in millions.
The essence of the damage is serious. At least if it comes now, it destroys more than 60% of our crops every blessed year.
The state government on its part says it is making necessary effort to ensure the farmers do not have the previous experience in collaboration with the federal government. From Dutse, Mansur Aliyu Hassan, NTA News.
Still on pest control, yam and cassava, which are the major staple food crops in the southeast zone, among those regarded as future crops in Nigeria's move to attain food security through improved production. However, as these crops are attacked by a wide range of pests and diseases leading to low yields, some key players in the agricultural sector in some states in the southeast have commended the federal government for approving the sum of 13 billion naira intervention fund for pest control in some states. Chinenye Moye reports.
Major root and tuber crops in southeastern Nigeria are cassava and yam. The farmers of these crops are, however, faced with some challenges, including increasing pressure from a range of insect pests, leaf and tuber beetles, scales, fungi, and cassava mosaic disease. Some of these pests or diseases can attack the yam or cassava while in the field, while others are called storage pests.
And that can lead to dislodgement of this stem.
We evaluated 52 varieties of cassava. So eventually we came up with 10 cross-cutting varieties that can resist this mosaic disease. Not only that they can resist mosaic disease, they are high yielding.
The agricultural experts stress that any farmer moving into the field should first of all study the life cycle of pests attacking a particular crop he or she intends to cultivate.
Sometimes planting late make these particular crops to meet the attack of these pests, or planting so early. That's why the study of the life cycle of majority of these pests attack this crop should be known to the farmer.
Educate our extension agents. They go to the field and enlighten the farmers on how to shake this problem.
Regretting that some pesticides may be harmful to human health, farmers are encouraged to seek professional advice on what to use, when and where to apply them. In Oka, Chinyere Fesi Okoye, NTA News.
Political activities are gathering momentum ahead of Edo Guba election. Let's now join Obey for an update in our Benin Network Center. Hello, Obey.
Elizabeth, thank you for joining us in Benin. Political activities in Edo have heightened ahead of the gubernatorial election. Adogbejo Jigba reports that some political parties are garnering support from individuals and groups.
With the Edo governorship election barely 2 months away, political parties in the state are engaging the public, particularly via social media platforms. Saturday was particularly busy for the two prominent parties as individuals and groups officially aligned with their preferred party and candidate. Kogi indigenous resident in Edo and a PDP stalwart, Prince Kasim Afebwa, declared their support for the APC governorship candidate, Pastor Osage Ize Iyamu.
Come 19th of September 2020, all the vote for the Kogi people will be given to APC.
I form my dissonance, and dissonance is the impression and feeling you get when you have tasted the product. Whether you are satisfied, whether you are dissatisfied. Now I am dissatisfied. So I need to look elsewhere in the name of variety to check into other people's agenda. And I've seen one in Pastor Osage Ize Iyamu, the simple agenda, and that's why I'm keen into it.
Meanwhile, the PDP received into its fold the national leader of the Action Democratic Party and former chief whip of the Senate, Senator Roland Owe, who vowed to work for the PDP.
I was a founding member of PDP in 1998. I thank God I returned. I'm back home. You can see I'm wearing this shirt. It's not a new one. I've been PDP. You see it, first chief whip of the Senate when PDP was formed. I am proud and I thank God they are giving me strength. And ask the Blessed Virgin Mary to go into intercede for us in this state.
We are very happy receiving him, but that is a boost to add to our success. In politics, numbers is the game.
Political campaigns commenced officially in the state on the 17th of June. In Benin, Adubeji Ujegba, NTA News.
And from politics to agriculture, the federal government has once again demonstrated its resolve to boost food production in the country with the flag-off of the 2020 maize cultivation in Delta State. The Anchor Borrowers program will also guarantee all-year production of maize in the state. Kelvin Ubuchi reports.
These are maize farmers training on how to effectively cultivate maize under the 2020 Anchor Borrowers program. Aside from that, 600 hectares of land have been secured in Delta State for the program. These farmers have also been provided with improved seedlings, chemicals and fertilizers.
The training alone will go a long way to improve the quality of yield from our farmers.
The Anchor Borrowers program is actually a program designed by the Central Bank of Nigeria to bring the smallholder farmers together with the processors of the produce, more like bringing buyers and producers together.
We are even doing another farming this year. This is wet season. We are doing dry season farming. That will take another platform by September, October, where we will use irrigation.
The program is expected to provide financial support for maize farmers.
Maize is critical to our daily needs, particularly in livestock feed and other confectionery industries, and is one of the laudable initiatives.
The cultivation of maize starts in earnest in Delta State. In Asaba, Kelvin Ubuchi, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Elizabeth in Abuja has more on Nationwide.
So much, Obey. Now, towards the actualization of the federal government's policy on food sufficiency, the recurring attack on fall armyworm on maize plantation on yearly basis has remained a major challenge. Kayode Oladusu in this report takes a look at the reports of stakeholders in the southwest at combating this maize pest.
One of the major setbacks for agricultural productivity is the impact of pests, which does not only reduce the volume of agricultural output, but also the quality of farm produce. One of such pests is the fall armyworm, which has significantly attacked maize plantation in the last 3 years across the country. Efforts at curtailing the spread of the pest remains a major challenge before the farmers.
We're having a very big challenges in our maize. So armyworm destroys some of our farms.
Effective control of armyworm on maize farm is a drastic step towards food sufficiency, while experts are of the opinion that regular capacity building for farmers on how to manage the parasite is of great importance.
Because of chemicals and because of this technological, many people are, they are trying to forget about it. We can actually make use of a little land and then try to use this crop rotational method or maybe you use shifting cultivation method where you can shift from the particular farmland and then go to another place not too far away. What you planted last year, you try to change it and plant another one, or allow it to fallow for some time.
Sensitization is going on, and chemicals will be provided to have an itch-free planting operation.
Continuous research leading to the discovery of seedlings that can withstand the threat of armyworm, experts say, is the way to go in addressing the negative impact of the parasite. In Ibadan, Kayode Oladoshu, NTA News.
Pest, be it grasshopper, locust, birds, or fall army, is one human enemy that continues to wreak havoc to food security and food production in the society. In this report, Simon Asher takes a look at efforts being put in place by farmers, government, and other stakeholders in agriculture in Adamawa State.
Adamawa State is one among 12 states in the country where the daunting challenges of transboundary pests such as squirrel birds, grasshoppers, locusts, and fall armyworms have continued to pose threat to crop production and hitch-free farming activities.
We have different armyworms, and the danger of the fall armyworms, as you can see, they go into the wall and then they will cause damage to the heart of the maize.
I feel very, very unhappy. I feel sad because it has already caused a lot of damages. As you can see, a lot of maize plants have been affected by the fall armyworms, showing that I'm not going to get the required yield I used to get on the farm.
An order visit to some farms in the state to monitor the situation, Sadiq Nadite was made at the point of spraying his farm.
I was a training under state government. Now we are using chemicals to spray for the insecticide and the other herbicide.
Despite their training on modern spray techniques by the Adamawa State government, high cost of farming input such as pesticides and herbicides, which is worsened by the COVID-19 pandemic, is one among many challenges faced by the farmers in Adamawa State. To prevent such interruption to food production, the state government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, is set to share pesticides, insecticides, and sprayers to farmers.
Most farmers put on much of their efforts, but the areas where they have limitation, that's why the government do come in most cases.
And at our own end, part of the components given to farmers, pesticides and knapsack sprayer.
The commissioner added that area spray against transboundary pests was recently carried out at various locations in the state, in addition to 6 weather stations to be put in place in School of Agric and Adamawa State University in Ganye and Mubi local government areas of the state, among other locations, to monitor the weather condition with the view to controlling transboundary pest movement. In Yola, Simon Asher, NTA News.
Time now to head to Kaduna, where Sulaiman is standing by with some reports for us. Hello, Sulaiman.
The Defense Corps has paraded 211 girl in Ajingi local state commandant.
Stay with us.
She cried. She cried in anguish and in pain. She bears the scourge of her grief. She toils in vain for justice and succumbs to silence. He gloats over his malady. Like a beast, he pounces with no remorse. Her cry meant nothing. Her pain feeds her shame. Like an orphan, she is left to grieve in solitude. But no more will she cry in vain. Her adversaries will henceforth bear the brunt of their bestiality. Rape is evil. Rape is a plague, a pandemic of monumental consequences. We must unite and kick it out of our society.
Connect with NTA and stand against rape and rapists. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
the chances of victims surviving COVID-19. A corruption-free society creates opportunities for citizens to thrive and prosper. Build your immunity. Stop corruption now. Report all acts of corruption to ICPC on this toll-free number 0800 2255 4272. This message is brought to you by ICPC and NTA.
Let us take responsibility. Stay healthy, stay safe, and curb the spread of the virus. Take responsibility. The coronavirus spreads from one person to another. Let us avoid crowd gathering of any kind for any reason. Take responsibility. Avoid traveling from one state to another during these lockdown restrictions. Obey all the rules that are put in place. Take responsibility. Stop spreading fake news and unverified reports about the coronavirus. There is no known cure for COVID-19. Take responsibility. Observe all the measures that can help stop the spread of the virus. Together, we can do this, but only if we take responsibility. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Glad to know you're still there. And I have signals that our studio in Kaduna is ready for us. Let's now join Sulaiman.
Elizabeth, for rejoining us. Kano State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has paraded 2 suspects accused of serial rape on an 11-year-old girl in Ajingi local government area of the state. The state commandant, Abu Abdu, said any suspect found guilty of such heinous crime will face the full wrath of the law. Awul Salisu has the details.
Statistics by a Kano-based sexual assault referral center shows that there are 127 rape cases in the state in the last 3 months, which they describe as alarming. Sadly, minors and children are the worst hit, as the case of 11-year-old Fatima Lukman, who has been assaulted severely by 2 men in Ajingi local government area. The minor, who stays with her aged grandmother, reported the case to the nearest office of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps after the culprits threatened to kill her if she exposed them. The rapist confessed to have committed the offense. Kano State Commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Abu Abdu, called on the people in the state to rise up to expectations by reporting and exposing any rapist around them for proper prosecution.
They do monitor the movement of this girl and get her trapped and assault her, which made the girl to complain to the family before the arrest of the suspects.
The commandant also expressed dismay over the spread of rape cases in the state, called for behavioral change on the part of victims' family to seek redress. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
Nigerian Defense Academy will enhance its training modules and curriculum to meet international best practices for the overall objective of producing quality military officers for Nigeria. Commandant, Nigerian Defense Academy, Major General Jamil Sarham, stated this during an assessment tour of the ongoing training for 67 regular and 46 short service courses of the Nigerian Defense Academy at Kachia. Commandant and principal officers of the Nigerian Defense Academy arriving the defensive location at Kutarumbuzu Forest, southwest of Kachia local government area, Kaduna State, to assess the quality of the last phase of training for the cadets preparatory to their presidential commissioning into the Nigerian Armed Forces.
Company of our tank, the platoon of our tank company is going to launch.
Commandant Major General Jamil Sarham acknowledged the quality of training being given to the cadets with a commitment to stepping it up.
We are changing our mode of training, and then we expect that we continue to learn by the day, and then we continue to improve so that in the end we produce quality manpower for Nigerian Armed Forces.
In recognition of their hospitality, the Academy sank motorized boreholes, donated 10,000 mattresses, 6,000 face masks, hand sanitizer, and refurbished tricycle ambulance for the host community.
We used to trek long distance in search for water. The boreholes provided to us will ease the difficulties we face.
Exercise Camp Highland Climasis military training for graduating cadets of the Nigerian Defense Academy. And with that report, Elizabeth, take it away from here.
Thank you so much, Sulaiman. And before we end Nationwide today, here is a public service announcement. And that's Nationwide today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Good evening.